Hi everyone, I'm Dan Albers and welcome to Redskin Review. Today's show is being taped on Wednesday, September 23rd, and in this show we're going to talk about Anderson's big homecoming win, 19-14 over the Walnut Hills Eagles, talk about this week's game against the Milford Eagles, and also the Roselet Financial Offense, Defense, Special Teams Players of the Week, which we might not know. I don't know if Jeff gave them to you.
I do.
So we'll talk about that. And then Jeff obviously is not joining us, and joining us is assistant coach Brian Pitzer. And Brian, thanks for filling in for Jeff tonight.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
My opinion, just watching the last 4 games that we've had, I thought that was your best all-around performance, both offensively and defensively, for that game.
Yeah, I think offensively we kind of really got everything going. All positions played really well. Everybody graded out pretty high. We had some more opportunities to score that I think we still left out on the field. But overall, we played well as an offensive unit. Defensively, I think our guys do a great job. I think Jeff and Coach Pete do an awesome job when we play teams that run like a flex bone offense, right, or wing tee offense. I think our guys play really good rules-based defense. Yeah. You got the dive, you got the QB, you got the pitch. So yeah, overall, I thought we played well. Special teams, we gave up a big one. So we're working on that this week. Hopefully, making a couple changes to some kickoff and stuff. But overall, we're excited about this week, and we're excited that we got our first win and 1-1 on homecoming night. So.
Absolutely. And you guys got on first on board on a nice 56-yard TD run by Patrick Johnson. Great run by Patrick.
Yeah, it was third and short. We kind of put a little bit of a heavy package in, and we ran basic power, and just he broke through on him, and took it to the house, and that's what Patrick's capable of doing. He's got the wheels to hit a hole, right, and just go. So.
I thought we were just talking a little bit earlier about the defense. I thought defensively you guys did a really good job on assignment football, and when you're going against a triple option, that's something you really have to do, and I thought for the most part you guys did a great job on assignment football. Yeah,
I think we did. I'm not much of a defensive guy by trade, but yeah, overall, from what I could tell, all that I knew was that we needed to take care of the football in the second half and kind of chew some clock, because we just – me personally, I didn't really feel that their offense was booming at that point in time, and I didn't know how great their pass game was from an offensive perspective. So, but yeah, I was very happy with our defense. I thought they obviously did pretty well.
And your defense obviously gave you guys a good chance to score again late in that half. You scored on a 1-yard TD run with like 1:11 to go before the half with Dylan Smith to put you up 13-0. You missed the extra point. Had to feel pretty good with 1:11 go until the kickoff.
Yeah, it did. We've been in a couple of situations where it's like we were in that at McNick. We had like 39 seconds left to go. We had just scored, feeling good. And they drive down and get a field goal last week. The kickoff, so. It is what it is.
Yeah, it was the guy made. I mean, honestly, he just made a move, and we knew right away he was gone. I mean, you could tell that no one was going to stop him. He did a really good job.
We kind of got out of position a little bit by some of our contain and gunners, and they just didn't stay in their lane. So we've really been working hard this week on staying in our lanes and just getting back to the fundamentals of kickoff. So
yeah, but Jeff and I, we've talked about in previous shows that with these kids, it seems like when things are going bad, things snowball, and it just doesn't. The kids are having a tough time picking up. But saying that, you had that big long kickoff return. You guys answered the bell on offense, and you went down, I believe, and scored with 3 seconds to go before the half on that pass to Trevor Porter. So that was definitely a great sign to see how the kids responded.
Right. Yeah, that's something we haven't really seen much out of our guys this year. And you said it best you're exactly right. We typically have shown that we will snowball a little bit and give up another big play or not do anything on offense, go 3 and out, whatever, after something like that happens. But the kids really stepped up. We did a basic 1-minute drill and took the ball down the field, and Dylan Smith made a great play, great heads up play, and got the ball to Trevor Porta.
Yeah, it was a really nice play, and actually I saw it. I think it ended up being on the news, so it was a nice little package for them. But one thing I did notice on the offensive side of the football that we probably haven't seen in weeks past is that Harrison Hill was playing on the offensive side of the football, and I don't remember seeing him too much previously. It looked like he was like a lead blocker possibly for you guys. I thought he did an outstanding job.
Yeah, Harrison does a great job. We just kind of threw him into threw him in this past week, and we knew what he could do. Obviously, he's a pretty physically fit kid, and we needed a guy to kick out and in, and he just goes and blows people up typically. So that's a great spot for him, and we're looking to develop that more and keep that rolling.
That's what I was just getting ready to ask. Will we see more of that probably in the future? Because honestly, I mean, it really, you can see a couple times, man, he kicked it out, man, and it left it wide open for you.
Yeah, no, absolutely. As long as he remains, healthy and able to do it, he's going to be the guy doing it. So.
You guys only had one score in the second half, and that came with 3:32 to go. Walnut seemed to, say, hey, we're going to go ahead and get rid of the run. We're going to throw the football. They did score on a 3-yard run by Taylor to cut the lead 19-14. I guess the bad part about a team running the triple option is you're really not used to throwing the football, but they ended up doing a pretty good job throwing the football.
Yeah, they did. I mean, they got pretty basic with it. They threw a hitch. I think we stopped them like 8 yards, and then they came right back and threw the exact same play. Kid, broke a tackle and took out the sideline for 25 or 30, and then I kind of got him down in there. They stalled for a little bit, but then, as the triple option does, it weighs on you, and then they just keep the same thing over and over again, and finally got one in. But
are you surprised that they switched their offense from the spread to the triple option, or do you think they did that more because their numbers were down?
Yeah, I'm not. I'll be honest with you. I don't really know why they did it. If that's the way that they're trying to go. I mean, George is he's a great guy, great coach, and I think he's just trying to do the best with what he's got. And I don't know if that QB's a spread QB, but he can definitely run a little bit and make some reads. And they put that the Harrison kid 32 at fullback, and he's a lot.
He didn't run the ball that much. Yeah. I was really surprised
I think
at
they were really, because he also plays middle linebacker for him. So I think that they were kind of conserving him as much as possible till the second half, when maybe they thought that they were going to need him, and even when they were. But I thought they did a nice job putting him in. The number 32 Harrison, and then putting in number 5, I think, was the other fullback that they kept putting in, and that was a nice little 1-2 combo.
Harrison is a load.
Yeah,
and I was just really, because I thought you guys would have had a really tough time with him, and they didn't really have him in there that much.
No,
so
they didn't.
But on the flip side of it, for Anderson, we had a great running night with the football. Patrick Johnson had 127 yards, and Dylan Smith ended up with 94 yards. So not only did they do a good job, but the offensive line did a good job to get those holes for those guys.
Yeah. Both those guys are running the ball pretty consistently well this year. That's one thing that's always kind of been stable on offense, is we've ran the ball, with the exception of Fenwick. Past 3 games we've ran the ball pretty well. That's credit to Matt Stanier and the O-line getting those guys, and it's credit to Dylan Smith and to Patrick Johnson for making some plays and breaking a tackle and things like that. So.
Yeah, third down efficiency was a heck of a lot better this week. It was 7 of 13. I know that's been a struggle for you guys in a couple weeks, but that was good to see that third down efficiency was a lot better.
Yeah, I think third downs in high school football, they're tough. I mean, it's tough whether – I think a 3rd and 8's tough, to be honest with you. I really do. Because you've typically got to throw the ball. You're relying on people to catch a ball, and defenses are bringing some heat. And, third downs are tough. I think 3rd and long – I feel like we're always in a 3rd and long at least once or twice.
Just getting ready to say that, yeah.
If it's McNick or Fenwick, we're in it about 20 times. But yeah, it's getting better. So we work on in practice. Try to stress down distance a little bit and try to get better.
I think the kids, you see a difference with the kids too when it's 3rd and 5, 3rd and 4. The mentality is a lot different than it is when it's 3rd and 8, 3rd and 9.
Right. Yeah. No, I would agree. And like I said, 3rd and 8, 3rd and 9, it might just be 8 yards, but 8 yards is pretty hard to come by sometimes.
Yeah, you're right. On the defensive side of the ball, we heard Jack Mangan's name a lot. It seemed like he made a lot of tackles. I thought he played pretty well.
Yeah, I thought Jack played well. He's a senior captain. Still looking for him to really kind of kick it in, I think. But no, he's getting better each week, and that's all we can ask out of Jack.
So. We've been seeing a lot of the young kids, a lot of the sophomores coming in and playing, and there's one that I particularly care a little bit about because it's one of my buddy's sons, Kyle Riley.
Yeah.
And I thought Kyle got in, and I thought when he was in there, he did a very nice job. And Jeff was talking about in a previous show that there might be a possibility that Kyle could possibly see a little bit more playing time. How did you think Kyle did in that game?
I thought Kyle did pretty well from what I saw of him in when we watched film together as a team. I have a hard time sometimes throughout the game watching guys, but no, I'm a big fan of Kyle Riley. I think he's going to be a really good player for us. He's got to put on some weight. He's a little thin, but He's also a sophomore. So,
Yeah.
but his attitude of how to play linebacker is awesome.
That's what I was just getting ready to say, is that he's got that built for. I think he does. I know he's a little bit on the smart side, but he's got that built for linebacker, and he's got the mentality of a linebacker.
Yeah. No, I would agree. He's just a kind of a hard-nosed, tough kid, and he's something that we don't really have a ton of.
Right.
Even
you tell him to run through that wall, he's going to run through that wall.
He's one of those dudes. So.
Yeah, so that's good to see, and his dad's a really good friend of mine, so it's awesome to see that he plays. Defense, he only gave up 222 yards of total offense. I'm telling you, that is really impressive when you're going against a triple option.
Yeah, no, I think it is, and like we said, I think when we become a rules-based defense, where it's a defined, 5 techniques, got this. Outside linebacker's got this. Strong safety's got to set the edge. Somebody's got to take the pitch. Yada yada. I think that we, as a defense, just play a little bit more confident. We know our job, and we can just fly the ball. And I think we do a really great job when we play those types of teams. So.
And you guys, always is big with you guys is winning the turnover battle, and you won it this week, and that was a huge factor in this game. Yeah,
no, I agree. They very easily could have been a lot closer game than what it was. They fumbled on the 1 yard line.
Right.
They had some turnovers, and I think we won at 2.
I think it was 2-0 in turnovers, I think.
Yeah, so, I got on Dylan Smith after the Harrison game about turnovers, and, he responded well, and, we protected the football and didn't have any errant snaps or, bad passes from what I could tell. That is a major factor in high school football.
I know you're not on the defensive side of the football, you're more on the offensive side of the football, and the question was going to ask about defensively, who else did you think? I noticed Austin Watt made a nice play. He might have had an interception, I think.
He did.
So Austin played really well. Anyone else that stuck out with you that you can think of?
Austin played really well. I thought Cole Kane played really well. Number 40, he's one of our nose or shade or whatever you want, wherever he's playing that week. That kid just gives great effort all the time.
Yep.
He really does, and he just works hard. And he's much like Kyle, kind of a different breed of kid that isn't real, seen around here too much.
Yeah.
So, I'm a big fan of Cole Kane. I like the kid. He's a good player, and
he's a kid that came from, I believe, was at Norwood last year. I think.
Yeah, I think he was at Norwood.
Yeah.
So
okay, let's get into our offense, defense, special teams players of the game by Roselot Financial, and I believe you have those. Is that correct? Do you know them?
In this top drawer right
Let's see here.
Yeah, they're right here.
All right.
See here,
so this week for offense we have, which would be the Walnut Hills game. He doesn't have it, does he?
Week 4. Hold on. Yeah, we've got.
For offense, it's going to be Patrick Johnson.
Cole Kane for defense, and Kyle Rogers for special teams.
All right, so that's our offense, defense, special teams players of the game. Again, Roselot Financial has been a big backer for us in our golf outing and all the things that they do. Nate Cosman, his son, happens to play on the team too, so appreciate everything that he does. What did the JV and the freshmen do this past weekend?
They both won. I think the JV won 14-13. And a nail biter, it sounded like, and
I think there's 21-7. Is that correct?
26-7.
26-7
for the freshmen.
And that's, I think the freshmen are undefeated, I believe.
They are.
That's a pretty good.
Coach Burns, Jimmy Burns, and Mike Arlinghouse and Brian Vale really got them rolling, man.
That's awesome. Yeah. That's good to hear. All right, let's get in a little bit this week. You got to play against a really good team in Milford. They're off to a 2-2 start. They beat Norwood and Dixie Heights, losing to Withrow and Hamilton. And I know one thing: they were really good last year. They obviously, had a couple big wins last year, but they lost, I think, 13 seniors. Was the running back they lost, the quarterback they lost. Just talk a little bit about Milford and what you know about Milford.
Yeah, so Milford, I'll start off offensively, obviously. Milford, from an offensive perspective, their defense, they're 50. They slant and angle, they play some cover 3, play some man-to-man. Very aggressive up front. I think their secondary's pretty decent. Their D-line's pretty decent. What they do is kind of a little unique, the way that they do it, slant and angle, and they kind of super slant and two-gap you and try to get over to two gaps. But, so I think their defense is tough. It's going to be hard to run the ball. I think they do a nice job with it. Offensively, they're a power read run team out of the shotgun, so a lot of the two shuffles and reading the end and running power up in front of it. Quarterback's pretty good at it. The tailback's a short, stocky kid, pretty quick, pretty fast. Then at receiver, I think they had a really good receiver.
He got hurt.
Yeah, he got hurt.
Greenwell.
Greenwell or something like that.
He was all Southwest, all Southwest District, and he got hurt, so he's done for the year.
Yeah. So that's a shame because he was a really good player. But yeah, and they're a spread team. They get in a couple formations and do multiple things that all look the same. And a lot of power, a lot of power. So
yeah, we know that they're much improved from years past.
Yeah.
End of the year had a huge win, beating Loveland last year to go 5-5. But on the flip side, again, we just said they've lost a lot of guys to graduation. And then if they lose Greenwell, I think it's going to be a little tougher for them to keep playing as well as they have.
Yeah, no, I would agree. It's it's just the ECC. I mean, it doesn't.
Right.
Doesn't
get easy.
I don't ever think we just go, yeah, boys, we'll get them this week. So it's the ECC's tough, man, and I think that they're probably a little shocked by Withrow, as I think a lot of people were seeing how Withrow was last year to what they are now. Withrow's much improved,
right.
and they just stuck it to them on offense and made some good plays. So.
They did. It looks like they have been trying to run the ball early in the season, and then obviously with Greenwell they passed the ball a little bit more. What did it look like in that last game? Were they trying to run more, pass, or they just kind of mixing it up?
They were doing a lot of the power read stuff. They're still throwing the ball. They throw a lot of quick game. They'll motion a little bit. They like to motion. Just depends on what you're giving them. I assume they're motion a lot because Withrow plays a lot of man, so they're probably trying to get some advantages there. Versus us, we'll play some man, we'll play some zone. I don't know what they'll try to get us into, but I do know that they'll be running power, quarterback and the tailback. So much like they did last year with those two guys. So.
What are we've already talked offensively and defensively, what they run. Some of the keys of the game that we always talk about with Jeff, obviously, is turnovers, getting off to that fast start. But on the flip side, we've seen you get to a fast start and then it kind of goes downhill. So hopefully you agree that it's just turnovers are going to be a key part of this game.
Yeah, I setting goals and stuff, all that stuff's great. I think that as coaches, I think we really have to stress just effort. Playing hard, making plays when we ask you to make plays, and turnovers is a big one. So, I think that if our defense can hold them to 14, 21, I think we'll be fine on offense to score more than that. But I don't know. We'll see. Just once again, comes down to how our kids are going to play.
Exactly.
And, we'll see what we get.
I mean, you guys. You want to obviously see improvement each week as you're going along. Do you feel like both on offense and defense, you've seen steady improvement each game?
Yeah, I think that after the McNick game, we kind of had a come to Jesus meeting, I guess, with ourselves. But we've really shown a lot of improvement from the wide receivers didn't have a very good game versus McNick, versus Harrison had a really good game. Quarterback didn't play well. Wide receivers and quarterback and running back and O-line all played pretty well last week. Defensively, like I said, I think anytime we're rules-based, I think we're pretty good. So, yeah, I mean, I think we're seeing improvements. Now we just can't, in my opinion, we just can't stay stagnant. We just got to keep moving up the ladder. And we're 1-0 in the ECC, and that's really all that matters anymore. So.
There's one guy that I know that was playing a lot of defense against McNick and Harrison, and we saw him play a little bit more offense this week in Blake White. And I think Blake definitely gives you a big option on your offense side of the football. Yeah,
Blake's a really good player. It all comes down to it really comes down to to be honest with you, the temperature sometimes plays a factor in Blake because he's a big kid. He's going to sweat a lot. Depends on how tired he is. So that's why you've seen us in some different personnel. We got to give him a break because, in my opinion, Blake helps us a ton on defense, and we have some other guys on offense that can supply him some time, to give him a break. So, yeah, but you'll see Blake White as much as we need Blake White, and And
the only reason I keep bringing that up is because I'm a former tight end, and I love when you throw to the tight end. So that's the only reason I bring up. Tight end doesn't get a lot of credit, so that's why I keep bringing him up. So, and you know what it was? It was quarterback's best friend. You remember that, don't you?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that was your best friend at Mount St. Joe, wasn't it?
Yeah.
We were going to talk about our featured alumni. It was going to be Chad Lapp, but obviously Brian does not know Chad Lapp, so we're going to go ahead and talk about some guys that he does know. And I believe the two that we were going to talk about are two guys that have gone on to play in a college level. One is at Toledo, and that's Alex Pfeiffer.
Yep.
And the other one is Kevin Rogers playing at Buffalo. Do you know much where they're at, and did they redshirt, or are they playing, or what's going on with them?
Yeah, so I think both Kevin and Alex both redshirted, and then at Buffalo, Kevin is playing tight end. He played quarterback here. I coached him as my first quarterback. Kevin's playing tight end. They got the guy in. They got a new head coach. Got him in from Wisconsin Whitewater, and they're traditionally a 2 tight end running team. So I think he's getting a lot of. He's from what I talked to his brother Kyle and his dad. He's more their athletic H-back receiving tight end.
Good.
So I think he's 1 or 2 or 1A, 1B. You know. So I think that he's getting some valuable time. And then Alex Pfeiffer. Redshirted. I heard he had a really good spring. You know, I don't think he's starting. He might be a 2 guy or a 2A, 2B.
Good.
So yeah, a lot of good things out of the former alumni, and it's good to see guys move on and play at the next level. And
that is
and
awesome.
Toledo got the big win over Arkansas.
Yes, they did.
And,
that was huge. That was big.
That created quite some controversy.
Yes, it did.
In the sports world.
Yes, it did. I'm going to go ahead and talk a little bit about Chad Lapp because he'll be our featured alumni at our halftime show. And Chad Lapp, I had the fortune of coaching him. I coached 1 year with Coach Soriano, coached the offense for the freshmen, and Chad was my starting guard. And they called him Boz, and he had the haircut like the Boz, and just one of those hard-nosed, tough kids. Played offense and defense, and Coach Soriano, I know, cares a lot about him, and he cares a lot about the program here at Anderson. He happens to be living in New York and works for Disney. And he flew back 2 years ago to come to our golf outing to be with all the guys. Oh, wow. And Chad is just a great guy. He actually sits at home with his kids and they listen to our broadcast and tells them about Anderson football. And he goes, one of these times when these kids get older, they're not going to want to hear about Anderson football because we live in New York and they want to play for New York football. Right. So he said, but they still, breed the Anderson football. So it's pretty cool. Chad's a really awesome. Good dude. Yeah. So, but I appreciate you taking the time today absolutely. And joining us and filling in for Coach Giesing. You've done 2 shows now for us, and
this is my 3rd actually.
Is it the 3rd?
Yeah,
that's right. Well, you did one with Daniel Rod.
I did the last ACTV show.
Yeah, that's wow.
Yeah. There's your trivia.
Man, you're like
halftime trivia.
You were like big time now, man. You might as well just take over for Jeff.
Yeah.
Put him down on the sideline with John, maybe.
Yeah.
Well, he's gonna be coaching. He can't do that. No, I do appreciate it. And again, this is year number 25, and John Raymond, who's behind the camera now, is down on the field, and he was just spot on. We couldn't figure out what was going on with Dylan Smith when he came out of the game, and he got our attention. His helmet came off. We weren't sure of that, so it's really nice to have someone down on the field to kind of give us that information. We appreciate everything that John does, not only for us but for Anderson High School. Denise White supplying us with the food each week is just monumental. I mean, that is huge. We were starving by the time we get there, and yeah, we got a lot of food. Kevin Crago on the camera, Don Marcello, he helps us with our tweeting and all the social media. So, and Greg Ellis is back. So Greg, he's been doing it with us. Yeah, he's kind of like the George Grand. He's just going to hit and miss a couple games. So John Raymond it'll be John Raymond and I at the Milford game. So that so it's good. So we appreciate all that, and of course all the guys at the studio, Shane helping us out. Appreciate that. And from what we hear, everything's going great on USBN Sports. Again, you can listen to the game anytime, catch the games, and so we appreciate everybody listening. So for Dan Albers and Brian Pitzer and John Raymond, we'll catch you next week on Red.